Mic check, 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 mic check. Then I'll conk. Then I'll conk. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for today, Friday, the 13th of March, 2026. I'm Mosad. It's WB time. Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. This is Reef Week. That's why we are where we are, all the way in Nicholas Key, Sapatilla Key Range here, deep down south, as deep as you can go. Gulf of Honduras deep. Um, we want to welcome everybody that's listening to us on Creme Radio, those watching us on XTV, those getting us via our apps, and of course, social media streams and simulcast coverage. Pleasant good morning going out to you. We trust that this morning you have excellent health. Your energy level is high, your vibration is positive, and of course, we hope that you got space for we and everything we're ready to bring Reef Week final morning. That's what we've got for you here inside WB Belize's premier morning conversation. We do what we do. We keep it consistent. We've got your morning warm-ups. We've got a bit of morning news for you. But before we do that, we've got your weather forecast from the National Meteorological Service. Forecaster Catherine Kamabat's going to tell us all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we now have your morning news, and the story is making it inside your morning news today. Belize Telemedia Limited on Tuesday, February 10th, made an updated submission regarding its proposed acquisition of SpeedNet Communications Limited to the regulator, the Public Utilities Commission (PUC). We note that the submission was made 2 work days after the Minister of Public Utilities, Honorable Michelle Shabat, announced in the House of Representatives on Friday, February 6, that the Prime Minister had ordered a pause on discussions for BTL to further engage the public in a genuine, open, and cordial way and to ensure the proper regulatory process is followed. He further explained that any proposed acquisition of this nature must first be reviewed by the regulatory body. The updated submission was required given the withdrawal from the deal of three cable companies. BTL had submitted its first proposal on January 8, 2026. BTL made presentations to the PUC on its submission on that same day and then again on January 27. Of the updated version, the PUC says BTL advised that the acquisition is subject to approval by the company's board of directors and importantly that the submission is being made in advance of that approval. After reviewing the submission, the PUC has written to both BTL and SpeedNet requesting responses on critical considerations. These include matters relating to consumer protection, service continuity and quality of service commitments, corporate strategy, transitional structures, financial soundness of the proposed transaction, infrastructure sharing, and market transparency and fairness. Both BTL submissions and the communications from PUC are available on the PUC's website at www.puc.pz. The PUC has set aside 1 month to receive comments from the public. The deadline is Monday, April 13th at 5 p.m. Comments can be submitted to info@puc.bz. The subject should be comments, proposed acquisition of SpeedNet Communications by Belize Telemedia Limited. The Public Utilities Commission, the PUC, on Wednesday notified that it has completed its public consultation on market dominance in the telecommunications sector. Based on their assessment, the Commission has determined that BTL Telemedia Limited holds market dominance across all retail and wholesale telecommunications markets, with SpeedNet holding market dominance in the wholesale call termination only, meaning they only control calls that end on their network. According to the release, the identification of market dominance enables the Commission to develop regulatory measures necessary to ensure that the structure and operation of the telecommunications sector remain consistent with the objectives of the Act, including promotion of effective competition, the protection of consumers and other users of telecommunications services, and the orderly development of telecommunications infrastructure. The Commission says it will use the findings to consider appropriate regulatory measures if necessary to promote fair competition, protect consumers, and ensure the continued development of the telecommunications sector. On Thursday evening, the government announced that the PUC has implemented a transition tariff freeze on bundle services, migration of subscribers, new tariff for services, and application procedures. It means there cannot be any changes on those aspects without the prior approval of the PUC. At their protest on Tuesday outside the National Assembly building, the Belize Communication Workers for Justice commented on the fact that Belize Telemedia Limited, in a notice to former workers, is not accounting for the 3% interest before November 5th, 2025, that the Prime Minister said the company was willing to pay on severance. The notice only references 6% interest after the CCJ judgment. On a related matter, there is a discrepancy in how the leader of the government is treating two issues related to Belize Telemedia Limited. The first is the intended acquisition of SpeedNet Communications Limited, which the Prime Minister has insisted is a business deal and a matter for the company board. The other is the issue of severance for former employees. In the case of the latter, the Prime Minister has said that the issue was discussed at Cabinet and the former employees must be paid. We asked Belize Communication Workers for Justice spokesperson Emily Turner for her views on that discrepancy. And that's the end of our morning news update. We'll take a break and then come back to open up conversation here on this Friday morning. WB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Reef Week, final morning for us, 2026 on Creme Radio and on XTV. Five, four, three, two, one. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Friday morning. It's the Reef Week coverage. You know that this happens every. We could say every March, really, because that's when the Mesoamerican Reef Day is celebrated, and that's when we celebrate the Belize Barrier Reef. All right, I'm adamant about that one. Yeah, so we want to welcome you. As you know, all week long we have been in Nicholas Key, in Sapadilla Key Range. This is our final morning here. We've been celebrating Reef Week under the theme For We Reef, For We Roots, connecting communities, empowering youth. And it would not be possible without a host of collaborators and partners and sponsors. And so, first of all, I want to thank my good friend, the one and only Will Mejia, Kopali Distillery, for their tremendous assistance to have us out on Nicholas Key in Sapadilla. It's a place few have visited. They have heard about most, but few have actually visited. And so we are very honored to have this opportunity to do what we believe to be the first ever live broadcast from the Gulf of Honduras, the Zapadilla Key Range, Nicolas Key. And we did it on Tuesday morning. And now, for those who have watched previous mornings, you will know that we this is not where we were the previous mornings, but overnight we had some showers. I think there's some kind of front that has come in, and maybe you guys have been experiencing it a different way. We got a little overnight moisture and early morning, little drizzle, and so we had to get under cover, to protect our equipment and to be sure. Well, the morning is lovely. We probably could have done it from where we've been doing it all week, but we had to err on the side of caution. That's what they say. So that is the reason why we are at a different spot. We're kind of like near where the kitchen is located here on this island. But it's still lovely. But visually, it's not the way it was those previous mornings. So we apologize for that. This morning we do have guests coming up. Let me just quickly take the chance to honor our sponsors and our official sponsors: Belize Tax Services, Freetown Drugstore, Honorable Osman Martinez, Sol Belize, Toledo Teachers Credit Union Limited, Toledo Institute for Development and Environment Tide, Garbutt's Marina, Kopali Rum, premier sponsors: BB Insurance, Ewarts Marina, Honorable Anthony Sylvester, Black in Marine Science, the Press Office, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Central Bank of Belize, CG United World Wildlife Fund, Wildlife Conservation Society, Belize Tourism Board, Seafront Inn, King Energy Uno Punta Gorda Town, the National Fisherman Producers Cooperative Society Limited, Punta Gorda Town Council, the University of Belize, and Carl Petch Village Resort. And we, of course, want to take this opportunity to thank all our sponsors and all our partners for the tremendous support that we've had to bring you Reef Week. And we're going to talk a little bit about Reef. Of course, we've been doing that each morning. That doesn't mean that there's not other stuff going on. Yesterday, we kind of were ahead of the story that gas going up. And the report is that fuel is going to go up over $1. Well, it has gone up. It went up last night, midnight. For me, that's bad news. It means that it's going to cost me more to reach Belize from PG than it cost me from Belize to PG. So, right away, that is a very unpleasant bit of news and an expensive one. And for most people who commute, it's one. And we spoke about, we understand there's a war in the what is called West Asia, or some news reports will say Middle East. Iran, Israel, the US, they're bombing, there's missiles, there's destruction, infrastructural destruction. A lot of the oil producing infrastructure in the Gulf states are being burnt, struck by missiles, by drones. Iran itself also has its oil producing capacity being impaired just from this reality of the war, as well as by structural, infrastructural damages. And so we know that it's very likely things are going to get bad. I've always had these questions. So you want to tell me that the oil, the fuel, the gas, remember now, what comes out of the Middle East is essentially they refine whatever. They bring in oil. And then they're brought to refineries, whatever. And then they bring out these products, whether it's your premium, your whatever. So based on how quickly our price went up, it means that it would suggest, I mean, the logical mind says that then it means that the fuel that we are presently going to pump since midnight last night is all fuel that has been produced post the war in Iran, which is about, I think, about 10, 11 days. Can you just fact check that for me, Will? I think it's about 11 days or 12 days. The number of days the war has been going on with Iran. Because within 12 days, we have the fuel going up. And it means that the logic of this is that all the gas stations throughout the country, they sold all their pre-Iran fuel before midnight last night. Because if they didn't, it means that they are charging you more for fuel that was already in the ground. This is the logic of it, right? This is the bonanza that comes off the pain of the commuter. I want to walk you through this logic again. Midnight, that is when our prices go up. I don't know why it goes up midnight. I don't know if it's a Cinderella thing, where the glass slipper falls off at midnight on the gas price. But we change our prices at midnight. And the reason given for the change is the war, Iran, Israel, US, then why they bomb up one another. And the world crude oil price has gone up, high. But if we price don't gone up like that, then it has to be that we don't start by the post Iran, Israel, US war oil. Because if not, then it means that at different levels of this pricing structure, people they start eat before the oil even come, including the government, which then taxes that oil, which taxes it in a way where it increases its take home based on the increased rate on the per gallon of oil. So it's a windfall. More, higher, the more take, the greater percentage of the take. Because there's a tax on a tax within the tax structure per gallon. And it's not complicated math. It really isn't. At 12 o'clock last night, there is no way that all the gas stations throughout the country had empty fuel tanks at the respective gas stations. There is no way. That's impossible for there to be such a synchronicity, such a everybody just synchronized. Our gas done the same time. So then they are being allowed to charge a new price on all acquisition. And that by itself is gangster. That by itself is structural badness. You know when you got street badness? Well, you got structural institutional badness. That's classic institutional straight up gangster badness. 12 o'clock, we get to charge one new price, whether or not that is a part of the new acquisition. Bam! You say to yourself, well, you hear we gone up by $1 a quarter. I have get the exact rates that reported in the news. Let me just try to get the exact dates so that maybe you did not hear this bad news as yet. So maybe we just got to drop it on you. So they said diesel, that's still the same. Good for you, Will. But they said that to change soon for the next shipment. When all the diesel tanks will be empty at the same time. But premium, which was at $12.53, is going to go up to $13.76. That's nearly $14 per gallon. That's an increase of $1.23. Somebody do the percentage increase for me. Just do the percentage increase. 123 divided by 1253 times 100. And then you have the regular going up from $11.77 to $13.02. That's an increase of $1.25. Then that's some serious jump. Then that's a serious jump. Then that's a painful jump. And it's not that we are clueless and we don't understand everywhere price to go up because of what's going on there. Everywhere. Yesterday morning, I felt maybe 1 week from now, we have start have one creeping up. Nothing in that creep. And that reef week, and I spent a lot yesterday in the first segment of my show talking about this issue. Talking about trying to explain to you, we have gone to school, we've done the class work on what we pay when we pay for that. What that $13.02 for regular, half of that is straight government take, which includes things like environmental tax, which includes stamp duty, and then GST on top of it. We pay a tax on the tax. So the greater that tax, then we pay a greater tax percentage on top of that, and that's the take home. And we have argued against consecutive administrations. There is no way that we should design a system where a painful reality that we cannot avoid, we import this pain, but for the government coffers, it's a bonanza. Something is flawed about that. Because producing, cost of living, our greater priorities. Don't tell me, well, it ended up in our government coffers and so they must spend that back per week. That is the argument that is used. That's a flawed argument. You want your productive sector to be under the least pressure. You want to incentivize production. You want to incentivize people taking on enterprise. The fishermen who now have to go, your fish where you want to pay for Easter. You can't beg to the fisherman when they come and tell you come Holy Thursday. How you want begs? He can't get away. He can't say, well, I have to cut back on how much fuel I use because the place where the fish there, not there closer because gas costs more. The fish still there where the fish there. The conch still there where the conch there. The lobster still there where part the lobster there. Trap still there where part the lobster there. In this case, we talk about fish. They say, oh, the length. People want to eat fish. You can't beg to the fisherman there. The tour guide then can't carry up their weight. Because then the tourist might say, well, I just want to walk around and I'll take your tour. But they have to spend more on fuel. The taxi, the bus, the inflationary aspect of this. And then boy, they just one, you know, it's we have to maybe thankful. They may actually start doing a thing when they even tell you that they may increase the price. Well, I couldn't do anything if I know they may increase the price. I wish I could tell my somebody if you go and full up the truck last night before Cinderella strike. Cause my glass slipper drop off. I have to buy gas as we reach PG. We have to full up. And if a song disgusted by all of it, I absolutely am. Not because I'm being unreasonable. I expect there will be pain. We are import one a lot of this pain. This war is terrible news. Terrible news. Terrible. But we compound it. We got a local amplification of bad news here when it comes to that. And we kind of lose sunlight, and me one day and I can't adjust my setting. I go in a break. I have and guess I have to adjust my setting. This WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes Week. We do week things when we come back from the break. That's all we represent.
I'm not hearing you.
Not on. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check.
Yes, now I can hear
Yeah,
you.
I had my mic muted, Senator, but you need a little bit you got
More
my
light.
you got my golden sunshine lighting the
Boy, you see that? You got my whole rigging to fall down. Take out the cost my light. You can't
no I
blame
never
them upon
I never
overcast
cuss.
skies.
I never cuss it, but yeah, we had rain overnight, so I kinda run for cover, but the morning has not been okay. Let me see. There's
I
Alyssa coming
still
in
jealous
too.
you. Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can do this.
You've not tried to?
I've not tried to. Okay.
Oh, Alisa has the best lighting.
Yep.
What?
You're lighting the winner.
Yes. That
My
lighting,
lighting work?
I don't know where to go. I don't know what that Bemo Pan. Nicholas Kigari, and I don't know what the Bemo Pan excuse.
Wait, we're going with Alyssa. Alyssa gone.
You did say you never did that before, so I
Alyssa
don't know.
gone. No, I never do anything, so I never responsible for that.
All right. There
All right,
she
there you
is.
go. All right. So we got six eyes in the building.
We do.
So what's going on?
I feel like this is a reunion of sorts because I don't know if the three of us have been together maybe a couple of
Yeah,
years.
you stop corner we good while, yeah. True Will? Yeah. Yeah, Will say, she don't know it. Then send it out with a never corner saps for no reef week.
Oh, really?
That way Will say. I don't talk behind the back, you there right yeah.
Tell, tell Will he need to tell me that with the chest.
Oh, Will. Boy, you get challenge, yo.
Tell me this one wouldn't have me take that ride.
Come.
Man, they try to come between me and you. Tell her you can't come between me and you.
You don't know that we're a family. We're a
Exactly.
family too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Morning, Will. I mean, just want to see your face. I know how Bali think that anything they get large.
Yeah. Yes, man. You have to make the trip out, yeah. You have to make the trip out, yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wait for the ride. You,
Get
you
a
see
holiday
gas gone up
plan.
last night? You see
Boy.
gas gone up last night?
The man got me the haul up Gilnet yesterday. In
Oh,
a
Well,
good.
in a contested waters.
well,
Real
we
life
Watch
thank you for
out.
your
experience on there
service.
yesterday.
We
Pan
thank you for
the
your service.
pan the Corona Reef. How you could get Gilnet pan the Corona Reef? It's so embedded in it
Yeah.
that even when we tied onto the boat, we couldn't get it up.
Oh
Oh my
no.
gosh.
You got
So
Happened to
it
broke up reef.
so it broke up the reef because they set it for lobster. They don't set it for fish. So
yeah.
they have it embedded down and for bring it up. And then they have it like they have multiple nodes. So that like you get that one node and then you pull, but then you get to another node.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can we talk about that on air? Because I think that's a live experience that
no,
even
I
with the
will
band.
talk about it. Will and come on later when I talk, but I got a video and everything. So to be honest
Nice.
with you, the pulling now was embarrassment to me because the thing is so hard to pull that I had to give my maximum and it only like you only bring in like about 1 inch of rope. And
That's wild.
my goodness, a lot of rope. It's like you pull and
Yeah.
pull and pull and pull and pull, and that the old rope. Then now you get down to where they got the old rope anchor, and then they got a new rope. Then you start to pull upon that rope, on blue rope. Then when you pull enough of that blue rope, then you finally reach piece of the gill net.
On it.
Oh,
And
white rope.
and our fine mesh.
Yes.
But make we emphasize for a minute what the marine life for you catch up in and anything they must experience in terms of just the panic. Like we had to feel like, oh, like I think I'm strong and I can't get out of this. And then they're like, you imagine you to fight for come up for air if you're not a turtle or a dolphin or something, or even just like knowing that you to try instinctively, you don't have a consciousness, but instinctively you to try get out of this thing and just the
But
impossibility of it.
but the global pressure has to be brought. If you tell me that Tide feels so threatened that they have closed down any type of work on the corona, and then you say to the world the corona represents quite a interesting scientific reality that everybody want to
Yeah.
know, well, what is this, what has happened here, and before you could figure out what has happened there, that's going to be destroyed. If we can't
Exactly.
have presence there, not even our scientists, we never even talk about activists. All scientists have been forced into retreat.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you that's in a matter of a year that I want wasted opportunity if they just want to ravish it like that. Like, and we actually we meet one long line, and this was not like this was like on clearly on if you have any question, if you have somebody ready worry about we part the border there or whatever. No, this was
8 miles
yeah, 8 miles
6 miles
from
from Coast Guard base.
Pantalero.
6 miles from Coast Guard base.
Oh.
You see with the technology in days, yeah, they can't really tell you, oh, well, a too rugged area or too difficult area. We the city base. We the city base on we the city key then. From we made it. We come the city Coast Guard key. Hunting key.
yeah. I've seen the videos of Will take up their stuff, but yesterday me different. I
Yeah.
guess because I guess different for Will as well because he never experienced uh being unable to bring up one net before.
Yeah.
He couldn't bring it up because to bring it
You
up
know,
would me, huh?
no, I was just gonna say, I mean, enough for nothing, but that experience, that one of the reasons why the conversation on the ban was pushed for by the fishers. We had fishers tell me and Alyssa when we made do the wrongs before the ban come in
Pacliff
of
Holland.
that guilt, right? I'll remember that they were just saying that they felt so guilty when they hear the creech
Right.
of the net against the boat.
Yeah.
A wild,
That's
a
a very
wild.
wild thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because they're right there on the net, on the reef, they like stuck on the reef every time. So your hot they broke the coral, which is even more painful for people like me.
Yeah. The enforcement have to come in, and the awareness of it. I don't know that even that is common knowledge that scientists not even there on the site,
No, we
you know?
had tied on, and the marine scientists said that they've been forced to close down their work there.
Because Coast Guard usually they go with them, but Coast Guard not have no fuel to go shadow them. Then go and go dive if Coast Guard to go with them. But Coast Guard not to go with them
Yeah.
because they don't got no fuel.
Yeah. So we had what's his name, Anthony Rush. He's the marine scientist at for Tide here.
So they not even want foreign affairs thing, that want money for gas thing.
Only the gas thing, yeah.
No, I think it's a foreign affairs. I think it's that there should be a global alert to say, listen, if this is as intriguing as the scientists have said it is, then how are we going to have a situation where you are going to have this destroyed?
Yeah. And another is scientists say, I mean, we've put out country reports and national reports, and I think as part of the ICJ case, that this is of critical national and biological importance for the rest of the region and the world. So like that's a Belize thing at this point.
Yeah. All right, we got to go on then. Five, four, three, two, one. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. It's Friday morning, 13th of March. It's the fourth day of our Reef Week conversations. We Reef, We Roots, connecting communities, empowering youth. The theme for this year's celebration, and it would not be Reef Week if we did not have Oceana with us. And so you are looking on the screen, and you can see the big shots from Oceana. The big shots are with me today. They've kind of cut their style one a little bit for me, but then they're in a full force. it's my way of saying I'm happy to see you, man. We have Senator Janelle.
Miss you too, Mose. We miss you too. You stop invite me, but we miss you too. Man in
What?
Belize.
What? What? The
I
blasphemy!
I have the red
Blasphemy!
receipts. I have the red receipts. I have the
Blasphemy!
documentation.
Oh, oh. We know that
Don't
joke
make
is
a
a
holler.
joke.
Don't make me holler out my WhatsApp chat.
We know that
I will
joke
be
is
like,
a
"Hello,
joke.
stranger. You're still alive. You remember
Oh,
we?"
so that who reach out to who for the are today now? Make we hear.
Yes, after our conversation, I started about the Reef Week theme and Reef Week fair and
No. Don't play with me like that.
whole
Alyssa,
story.
morning.
Man in mood. Man in mood.
I know, I just to wait. And I like, I don't want to get
Morning.
into this hot
Morning,
fellow.
Senator. How are you guys doing? Happy Reef Week.
Happy Reef
Happy
Week.
Reef
Happy
Week,
Reef Week.
everyone.
Well, I know,
So we
I know, I know that Oceana keeps it heavy for Reef Week, so maybe we can start there. What are some of the things that have been done for this Reef Week?
So yeah, a lot has been going on. I'll pass over to Alyssa, but I would say the overarching theme is just continuing the conversation, Mose, because every time we get together and we have these meetings, and just the innate response of just, we have to champion this, we have to increase the community ownership, we have to make people feel that this is for we reef, this is not some distant thing where we only think about June to November. And that's really been at the core on and why we're still doing this. And you were, big respect, one of the three folks organizing this from 2011, 2010. I know I said that age you, but it's really a beautiful thing when we could come together and celebrate something, but also own the responsibility of that ownership, and,
Big up
and really
Alberto
make sure
Part. He was
that
big up Alberto Part. He was
yes,
a founding
yes.
member
Briefly
or
cover. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And,
Um,
and Miss Audrey, yeah, it's really important that these things continue, because I think bad actors are counting on us to stop celebrating, and then you hear, oh, well, we're gonna we don't to stop celebrate the reef. So but Marley said we can't take a day off, because people on the compound if we walk away from these types of things, and we know how important it is to just remind people and say, hey, remember, and we continue to fight.
okay, Alyssa, fill me in.
Yes, man. I want to start first of all. Listen, like today we have our Reef Fair that's happening at Memorial Park in Belize City. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. All the organizations that are participating in Reef Week, and there are many, too numerous to mention. One of the unique but great things about Reef Week is that there's just so many organizations across the country that are just working together to make this happen. So I just want to invite everyone to come out to Memorial Park today. That's live, that's happening today. So get out there, see, learn, experience, interact, engage. You have ideas, you have thoughts, you have opinions. Now is the time to kind of share those with anybody and everybody, because they will be there. So we're excited about that. But the Reef Week calendar, as always, chock full of activities from north to south. Lots of outreach activities, lots of education, engagement, cleanups, trash blitzes. We have social media giveaways and contests. So there's opportunities for, if you take great photos and want to participate in that, do that. Scavenger hunts that are happening. And there's even some activities that are happening later this month as well by other organizations in terms of trainings and workshops. So I encourage everyone to visit the Reef Week Instagram page, the Facebook page, find out more, see what's happening in your area. We have a full detailed calendar, and there's something for everybody, no matter how old you are, no matter where you are. And I think we take great pride in trying to make sure that we make things available and accessible to people every Reef Week.
Yeah. And before I go to Spanish Lookout tomorrow, you have to head out to support the WWF organized Reef Run
Yes.
happening tomorrow morning, because that's one of the last events of this week. But it's always a fun way. You can walk or run. It's 2 miles. And I think, some of the perks of registering early have closed, but definitely walking in solidarity is also a big deal. So I encourage folks to head out to the Marine Parade
Yeah.
tomorrow.
They have an 8 mile option too, in case you're a serious, athlete and runner. I personally signed up for the 2 mile walk run option, but still participating, still showing up. And that's what I mean, organizations really give everyone an opportunity to be involved, no matter where you're there, no matter your fitness level. We're not a judge nobody. And we definitely want to make sure, people could get out there and, surround themselves with like-minded people. Reef Week really is about bringing awareness to that resource out there that sustains us all, whether we appreciate it, whether we're aware of it or not. It really is what pulls us together as Belizeans. Everybody. You used to say this, Mose. We the reef people. That's who we are. Whether we out there ourselves or not, the food we eat, the places we like go, Easter to come up directly. Everybody going out, Snake Key Cocker. Hopefully some people try to make it out to the SAPs who could make it out there. I jealous. It's been a while.
You should be, yeah.
But yeah.
But and yeah, once the road fix, we make sure we get the reef ride back on the road. We had to make a decision this year because of safety. The condition of the road is really not conducive to safety, and number one priority is always safety for anybody, the participants. And so with the road construction about to start, we're very optimistic that, once we have a brand new road, that the reef ride will make a comeback. So you don't have to dust off your bike and give you at least a 2-year notice so that you could get back on the road with us riding from to the coast.
I know your little job. Yeah, I know you that. I know. I will not retaliate. Not immediately. Have your fun, Senator.
Not immediately.
Not
well
immediately.
noted.
Not immediately. No, we know that you've had some major wins, some major campaigns. You've been a part of coalitions, but you've been a significant part of various winning movements to impact, of course, the Gillnet. Well, before the Gillnet, and I think maybe it was before, I don't know, it might have been before your time when they had the victory against the trawlers. And then, of course, you've had the Gillnets, you've had the offshore oil moratorium, and you've kind of had to do a double dip on that, go back to make sure that no games are being played. The plastics seems to be one that's become a little bit problematic. Like it's easier to get maybe rhetoric from leadership, but that kind of, as you had asked Will to do, put his chest in it. Maybe we have not seen that when it comes to the one-use plastics. Could you talk about that a bit?
Sure. And I'll piggyback on our tag team with Alyssa on this too. But I think it's important, Mose, with all of the accomplishments that we have made as Belizeans, and because none of our work is singular to us. This is always about a national effort, national benefits, and Belizeans owning this. Has been the people power. So I really want to start off really strong, saying with my whole body, thank you, because like you said, sometimes we have to go back. Sometimes we get one next signature, we do our next event about the same thing. And to their credit, people continue to show up, continue to sign, continue to stand up and speak out, and that bigger than anything else, because we know our voices get dismissed, but when we come together, then people listen, and leaders respond to that. So just really want to thank the Belizean people for being true to that this entire time. But I will say on the plastics, Mose, we have identified, and you may have heard ministries like the Sustainable Development Ministry and even Minister Julius Espat, who is one of those folks as well, have to deal front and center because of highway cleanup. There is an opportunity for us to look at legislation like the Beverage Container Act, like, enforcement, but of how do we make sure that there's ownership, literal ownership of these items that are being produced as single use, particularly in the food sector. Let's start with the food sector because that's something that we can control, and look at how it is that when you produce something that is single use, have a responsibility for get that back to you so that you could handle it, or that it's handled in a way that it can be processed and dealt with responsibly. Because we see what happened with those one set of products from that one company, the Coca-Cola company, where people are collecting it, and because there's that value to that, people look out for it, they go hunt for it. But these other single-use items don't have that, even from our national companies. And we think that should be something that's equal across the board, to make sure that everybody have that same responsibility. Because if we could do it for one, I think there is an onus that we do it for everybody, to make sure that at least we could appreciate the Denti night. And I will say, Mose, if you've ever been on just one cleanup, it is truly, truly, truly remarkable where people dash. Like, I mean, it's like, you don't want this in your home, but you want to put this in everybody home. Like, yo, it's surreal. And I know this is that about washing machine and mattress. I mean, everything when you could think about, like insert blank here. It's crazy, and it speaks volumes to, as you said, like we could say we love the reef and we love our environment and we want clean air and clean water, and we know to make the connection that where we put out into the environment and think that, oh, somebody else can collect that, or that's somebody else's problem. We just despite ourselves. We really, really just despite ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to piggyback on something Janelle said earlier too, in terms of the production. I think one of the major problems we've seen, not just in Belize, but globally, has been this emphasis put the responsibility of single-use plastics and litter, they put on the consumers, right? On us, the ones who to buy the products. But if there are no options, if there are, limited ways of getting things dealt with, it's very, very hard. It's a cultural thing. But beyond that, we're also seeing a real big move and a push towards enhanced producer responsibility. So saying, let's look at the production of these items for consumption, whether it's beverage, whether it's food, whatever it is. And the people who are producing it have to provide more options. They have the responsibility to do so. And we're seeing major companies globally take these leaps. I don't know when last anybody gone, and I just use this randomly, at McDonald's in Chetumal, and I only use Chetumal because they're closer. I know there's lots of things going on there too. But I mean, since I think over a year ago, they've passed legislation. So now their cups not come with a plastic cover anymore. Their straws are paper straws. And you're seeing these big companies take these steps to say, we're looking at how we produce, how we manufacture, how we provide these options out there, and take increased responsibility, because we know to put the responsibility on the consumer, is shifting more than this. They're paying for the product, but then they're also responsible for the disposal of it as well. Like, who's the one making profits from this, and how can we streamline our, value chain or production chain to be able to say, our supply chain, that we can minimize plastics, single-use plastics primarily, but also in terms of how these things are disposed, because whether it's containers, trash bins, any of those things, collection, having a way to make it easier and the access, more available and more democratic to people, to say, okay, if this is what you want us to do, we want to be partners in terms of how we dispose of this. Let's see how we can make sure that it's easier for people to do that. Not that I have to drive here, give this to a facility, do all of these things, jump through hoops A, B, C, D, and then when ultimately get confronted with a report you don't like, say, well, it's not, we're doing this, but ultimately the people need to bring it to us, kind of scenario. So we're seeing a lot more enhanced producer responsibility, and I think that's something that we're definitely engaging government officials on, partners, private sector especially. We've seen a lot of greenwashing. We've been trying to do a lot of education around that, because people say bio-based container. What is bio-based? When you look at what that looks like structurally, it's almost the same thing as plastic, or styrofoam, and it doesn't degrade, even if it's made from a naturally derived source. I mean, petroleum, if you will, they have to get that out of the ground, fossil fuels. You could argue whatever you want by that. How it's made afterwards, though, is a man-made process, how it's turned into plastic. And so, by that account, you can take anything and try to put it as, oh, this is great for the earth because it came from. So we're really trying to make sure that people are aware of the things that they're they're using, and then also the effects of it, because beyond litter, beyond the cost to take that out, beyond the eyesore that is, and we've heard, to John's point, several ministers come out on this, talking about civic pride, talking about garbage, the cost of that to other industries like agriculture, like tourism. But beyond that, even health wise, people tell you, put hot food in a plastic container, in a styrofoam container, release toxins were negative or harmful to your body, cancer causing toxins, and there's lots of things there. So it really isn't a good thing all around for us. And I think the wider conversations, the more people get involved in this, the better the solution can come about, where the responsibility really is shared. It's not just on who buy it, have to be responsible for what that ultimately end up. The people who produced it also have to bear some responsibility on that, and that's really the conversation we're pushing.
Absolutely.
Give thanks for such a thorough response. This is an extremely thorough response. I appreciate, and a lot that we could kind of like separate and really focus on. But I will just leave that as is, to say, well, that's just how difficult it is to change human habits, to change community habits. It's not easy work, and there is no there is no success just by simply kind of getting all rushed from me about it, or playing the play game on it, because it requires all hands on deck making the right adjustments in concert consistently. So
Absolutely.
there is enforcement, there is infrastructural changes, there is there has to be consequences, and there's need for major education, and to some extent some regulations. But everybody has to be looking at how they can collaborate better and really consistently hammer away, so that we can. If you did a survey, it's a thing about us that we detest the most. It's one of those things.
Yes.
All right, so
Yes.
we're not happy about it. There are different partners that have to come in to say, listen, let us move and make the necessary changes. It won't happen overnight just by saying, man, now why are we so dirty? That does nothing. It's like they put a warning sign on cigarettes saying that they kill, and
Exactly.
and it's like, you think that's going to stop somebody from smoking a cigarette? It takes a lot,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And secondhand smoke is worse, to use the metaphor,
yeah,
So,
yeah. Uh, I spoke before we got on here, Senator. I don't think Alyssa was on as yet, about an experience yesterday. I was with Will, and when you're with Will, you'll always end up in some frontline situation. It might be advertised as a let's go take a look and see if fish the bite over there. But trust me, I know about that. It's going to end up in some kind of let's be the change we want. We end up finding gill nets in what is supposed to be a piece of reef that has garnered international headlines. The Crown Reef, Corona Reef, that is between Belize, Guatemala, or in Belize. How you go, Will? Is it all in Belize?
It's all in Belize.
All in
All of
Belize.
a sudden now, a
All.
lot of people are trying to
Okay.
take these and part
All
of it.
right. We're gonna talk to you. We're gonna talk to you about that part. Anyway, we earlier in the week, of course, we heard from Tide that they've been kind of forced because of how, in their view, it has become. I think the word used is dicey or tricky, or um, the transboundary aggression amplified. But
yes.
that is no good. Tide is science, and the science work has been interrupted. And then we encountered a gill net that literally Will couldn't take up, and his captain couldn't take up. And whatever little strength I have, which is not that much, couldn't give them any assistance either. Resorted to using the boat to bring up the net. Couldn't. And the parts that did come up were essentially bringing up pieces of the reef. A reef that I have to emphasize has made it into the international news as being what, like, it shouldn't be there and it shouldn't be that healthy. It's deep and it's extremely healthy. The biodiversity is extremely high, and so it is to be studied. Well, right now it is being savaged. I can tell you that firsthand. And it's, and you know, the gillnet thing. This is not. This is not. This is not just, you know, killing fishes. This is destroying reef, like literally. Um, how do you look at that, Senator Alyssa?
I First of all, I think everybody hearing that further encounter, because unfortunately we know we'll post our videos pretty regular in terms of coming across this gear. But just in terms of, again, that ownership, that this is for we, this is literally for we reef, and somebody is disrespecting it, is insulting it, is destroying it, and what are we going to do to make sure that we are helping to be part of the solution to that and addressing that meaningfully and making sure that that is safeguarded and protected, because that's to our benefit. It's literally giving us what we need. So that in the first instance is heartbreaking. But the second thing, it's just, I think every time we hear a gillnet story, it reinforces that this gear is just inherently destructive. That it is such a well designed, like, you know how the lionfish is like the perfect invasive species because it could live a month without food, it have millions of eggs, and eat everything. That gear is so perfectly designed to do the worst damage you could imagine. It's so strong. It's so, like, it's indomitable. And we, as a people, the fishers, fisherman Ardenet from Punta Gorda, they were the ones in the 1990s that saw exactly what you saw yesterday, 30 odd years ago, and said this can't be something that we use in our waters because it is so destructive. It is so indiscriminate. It is so unnecessary, and it's irrevocable in its wake, that we have to get rid of this. So to hear that, as you say, something significant, and all our reefs are significant, but something as significant as that site, that is a hope spot that should be studied as to figuring out, well, why this spot the work when others the bleach, and why this spot have fish when previous spots all the fish gone. Like that to me is the real loss that we not even begin to calculate, because we know that we lose, we could look down and see the damage. But what about the things where we not even see, when we not even appreciate the species, where we not even know the down there that might only they are? Like, we don't know how pretty we pretty, but man, we also unique. And people forget unique no mean rare. Unique mean only, yeah. We might have things only, yeah, where they're on that site and we don't even know about it and we lose it. Like, that to me, the bigger tragedy, where really they give me the most anguish, because we lose things to the deep sea, to these things. And it's why globally there is this significant push for cautionary approach, and really strategically making sure we're making decisions based on information, because we take their things for granted, that, oh yeah, well, we don't know where they're down there, so we could go ahead and destroy it, or we could afford to lose it. I remember one official writing and say, oh well, anything where they're out there environmentally falls to the wayside for what we could benefit from economically, not realizing it's the other way around. Our environment, that reef sustains maybe the whole population of fishers we depend on our southern population. We could be losing that. And because of where we are as a culture, as a people, maybe that's where we need to look at how we advance, make sure that Corona Reef becomes the Rutamaya of the sea, and we rally around it and make sure that we put that attention out there, and we come together for figure out how we could safeguard that and enforce that and be safe, because we know safety in the numbers and we know safety is a real thing, but then they're out there because of where they're down there, and we don't even know where they're down there.
Facts. So, well, it's a reminder that good work has been done, a lot has been achieved, there have been wins, but
Lots to
uh,
do.
the enemy still lives. Our challenges persist, and the reef is still in peril. Some of it beyond our control, climate change. But there are some things that require a deep commitment, courage, and consistency. And this is a low hanging fruit. This is not a secret. This is now something that has captured the curiosity and the interest of scientists far and near. And it is
Yeah.
absolutely depressing to hear. I mean, I was not expecting this. I'm just talking to Mr. Rush, the marine scientist for Tide,
Yeah.
and he was explaining he's just saying, yeah, we were doing work, we were collaborating with Guatemalan organization, I guess of a similar orientation, and then that has been
Yeah.
completely disrupted. And
Yeah.
I think Ewert, in his own dynamic and impressive way, said it really well, that you have to act with a conviction that something is yours. Um, you are,
The man a poet, You
yeah,
were that poet.
100 he is. He's a man of great,
Yeah.
oral rhythm, and in it is a challenge, right? It's a challenge.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
it doesn't make it easy, but there are things that are worth our commitment, even if they are difficult, and this is one of them,
Absolutely.
right? And that's why we
Absolutely.
have,
Absolutely.
and that's why we have Reef Week, right? So
Yes,
Yeah.
and I want to make sure I advertise the right. I said unique, but the scientific word is endemic. So big up to the scientific community for coming up with those words, but also big up for the folks that latch on to that, because as Ewer put so poignantly, like, yeah, I mean, we have to act like it. If that your ball and you want to pick it up and carry it to when you're ready,
Yeah.
then you better make sure
yeah,
everybody know that your ball same way.
yeah, ownership is lived. it's
Absolutely.
lived. But I wanna again, I want to just thank you guys. It doesn't feel like Reef Week, at least here on WB, if we don't get a chat with Oceana, and especially when we get to chat with the big fishes of Oceana. No pun intended. No pun intended.
No, we're always happy to come here, and I just want to say, like, honestly, that's why when we talk about this, whether it's single use plastic, whether it's single use gear, like indestructible gear, and just patriotic pride, I think at the end of the day, folks like you were, leaders that aren't putting themselves in the spotlight. They're recognizing that if they're not me to say it, then who to say it, and really stepping up. And that gives me the action word of hope. That hope that not just sound known that, oh yeah, well, I hope somebody want to deal with it. No, it's hope as a verb, and recognizing that I have to be the one that out there for say, but we could deal with this in a different way, and we could look at this differently, and we could put trust in our people. But when they fail, we are holding accountable to it. And when we do right by it, then we could big them up and say, yes, like you deliver because this matters. And that are really the motivation, the buoyancy where make we continue to do this year after year, day after day. Because if we don't have that hope, what we have, that's a humanity without hope. I mean, we don't have to look too far for see what that looks like, and we don't want that for Belize.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you both again. Hope you guys finish up Reef Week with great enjoyment. Make the best of it. And thanks again for joining me here from spectacular Sapadilla Nicholas Key.
Salt in the wound. Oh, salt in the wound.
Salt water, not just salt
Make-
water.
I
Making,
know. I
no,
know.
it's not only that though. We're making history. This is the first ever broadcast from the SAPs ever.
I mean, and when a big and large moves, because you know that's a broadcast. You the broadcast in a way that everybody there appreciate, and the signal, not the stutter, your type of things, my
I
boy.
know I've
So
endorsed that part. They can already use one disgusting Bali technology, but yeah,
But
this
it's the embodiment of the Reef Week team. I have to say, you're to connect communities, you're to show people, what we have out there, and really
weave,
that's
weave,
you can't
weave.
protect what you don't know. So doing it
exactly.
for us.
All right, guys, have a great weekend.
Thanks,
Enjoy the
guys.
rest of Reef
Thank
Week.
you.
Thanks for
All
joining.
the best.
Thank you. Have a good
All
Reef
right,
Week.
we'll take a break and
Bye.
come back. Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome back to the WB Wiggle Believes Morning Vibes. We did a really different spot because the weather kind of
Because we won't weather hotel a Saturday
very
lunch.
only weather, so we had to make adjustments. Let me just give thanks to my sponsors. Firstly, of course, we're doing Reef Week, and let me just mention that our sponsors are, of course, Wilmer here and Kopali Distillery. I think our Nicholas Key, Garbutt's Marina for bringing us out and will be taking us back. We hear the weather kind of bumpy for try get in, but see what's matter. The official sponsors include Belize Tax Services, Freedom Drugstore, Honorable Osman Martinez, Sol Belize, Toledo Teachers Credit Union Limited, Toledo Institute for Development and Environment, Tide, Garbutt's Marina, Kopali Rum, Premier Sponsors BB Insurance, Ewarts Marina, Honorable Anthony Sylvester, Black in Marine Science, Press Office, Ministry of Health and Wellness, Central Bank of Belize, CG United, World Wildlife Fund, Wildlife Conservation Society, Belize Tourism Board, Seafront Inn, King Energy Uno Punta Gorda Town, National Fishermen Producers Cooperative Society Limited, Punta Gorda Town Council, University of Belize, and Calpets Village Resort. We are closing down now towards 9 o'clock when we put our Reef Week themed WB to rest for another year. We've, I think, as Senator Janelle mentioned, it's been since about 2010, 2011. It's almost 15 years of Reef Week. This year, celebrating the Reef under the theme for We Reef, for We Roots, connecting communities, empowering youth. And, I respect the words say you have to act like you own and thing to make people believe you. The ICJ can't do that for you. Can't send integrity in our envelope. You work rough. But it hammers home the point in the context of what we experienced yesterday, where we have this, I mean, everything nice, everything prized, but about 8 or 9 miles,
About 8 miles. Not
8 miles south of where we are,
Yeah.
we have this, and you guys can go and read up about it or Google it. They find this reef in a condition where it shouldn't be in. Meaning that the reef looked like one page out of history, said 35 years ago, how the reef overall may look.
Yep.
In a time when reef all over the world are in decline, under threat, and losing a lot. Every year we do an exercise called we get the through the Healthy Reef organization, they do a reef report card, and we know that they would give you only C, only B, only improvement there. But this piece of reef, what they call the Krong, the Corona Reef, they're deep, and it seems to be unbothered by all the challenges and is in fine shape. And so it is being studied. Well, was being studied. Right now, though, that studying is done, it appears.
Yeah, it's a free for all right now. It's kind of like a free for all, and it is a shame because, like scientists have all agreed that it is one of the most unique reefs in the entire world. We have it here in Belizean territory. Scientists, the local scientists like Tide and those, they been studying it. I'm sure other scientists from around the world have been studying it as well. But unfortunately, those studies have had to stop because the bad man, they win. Tide has not conducted studies there because they don't feel safe. We have a Belize Coast Guard base that is 6-7 miles away, that we would think would provide coverage so that Tide could go out and do their work. That's not happening. So there's a breakdown in communications between these organizations when you have the most important, the most resilient reef in the world that's sitting there and now being exploited, as you know firsthand. I know you're so. We know to make this up. You have the videos. You are there. Gill nets is still on the reef. And I mean, this I don't know ordinary reef. I mean, these gill nets are deep. They are very, very deep. It gave us so much trouble to haul up yesterday that we had to basically leave a big part of it. So I mean, we are here. We are talking about the reef, the Belize Barrier Reef, and there's so much more that need to be done so that our Belize Barrier Reef could continue to get protected.
It's depressing that you have something like that happens against the grain, where you have a reef that is doing so well. You don't know the factors that led to this, but before you could figure it out, before you could ascertain what has led to this, what makes this so special, essentially our neighbors have found out, oh, that's a piece of reef that has a lot. It has lobster, it has conchs, it has biodiversity, like we the year, but our sense of self-preservation dictates that we have to go deal with that. No with no rules, no with regulations, but just we got to go take it. And it's like self-preservation. We know that a lot of the people who are doing this, at least some of them, then the low-income people, the poor people, and then they try to survive. Uh, so they want to do that if they know. Once they know that you can stand up for that, they need to survive and they want to do what they want to do. You can't have one. You can't put one flaky fence where it is you got your most precious thing. That's what I'm saying in the story. You can't got your artifacts and your jewelry and your finest necklaces and pearls out in the open with no presence, no security, and a flaky fence. You no way in the world you could do that, and somebody don't want help themselves to that. It's hard. So you have to say, oh, you know what? This precious, this stuff for me, I have to act accordingly to protect it, to make sure that it continues to be a benefit and a value to me. That's what it comes down to. That's what Reef Week is supposed to represent, bro.
Yeah, and we have like a lot of NGOs. We have um, in government, you have the Ministry of Sustainable Development. You have the climate change. You have all these organizations and government ministries that's like pushing for us to do better. You heard about the Resilient Bold Belize. About okay, we got to protect this part of the reef. How about protecting the most important part of the reef? Let's lock that in. Let's put that there. We just, the part of the reef that we are talking about right now is what like sent the Belize flash fisheries and some of the guides, in overdrive. But here we are. And the government say, well, we got to do it. We got to do it, and respect is due to that. But you can't be saying that we need to protect this reef when you have the other reef, the Corona Reef, the flagship of the reefs, not only in Belize but in the world. And that is being abandoned because, when you talk to different people, I understand that one of the reasons that Coast Guard don't have enough fuel, well, we have millions of dollars in Blue Bond. So there's a breakdown somewhere. There should be no time when the Belize Coast Guard should say, we can't do a patrol because we don't have fuel. There is no time Tide should say, we can't do a patrol because we don't have enough fuel. I mean, you are out there to protect our most precious resource. I mean, things that like mind-boggling, not only to us Belizeans, but to scientists around this world. And then you have these international organizations, like let's say WWF or the Nature Conservancy. They know the importance of this. They use this to fundraise. Well, I think that there should be communications for these international organizations who have fundraised on behalf of Belize to find the fuel so that Tide could continue its studies, so that Coast Guard can continue the patrol. I mean, you saw it yesterday.
At the end of the day, if you were to sit down and wait for the ICJ to save the Port Honduras Reserve, India would be a drought right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you wait for that to preserve for put in place your regulations. No one did it. And if the argument is at the highest level, because we have to look at this at the highest level, this is beyond conservation. There is a mindset that whatever issues we have which are under the label transboundary issues, the ICJ is going to solve it. The problem with that thinking when dealing with the corona reef is that the ICJ cannot save you in time. If you are one of those who are so absolutely convinced that you know exactly what the judgment is going to be, okay, that's turned into a turtle's race. Now we have a whole thing with the SAPs. So you're waiting for all of that to resolve. And you're also seeing where the world order of rules based dealing with things is eroding at a accelerated pace. I mean, it's dissolving before our very eyes. So the very sturdiness of the place that you are depending on to solve your problem is being undermined. Right? That's what's going on. Literally. A country has made its own version of a board of peace that will determine how things are going to be determined. While you're at the place that they are saying we don't want to deal with them any longer. That's what we. So now, at some point, this is not about being an alarmist. This is not Chicken Little. This is real. So you will sit down and say, "Well, wait for something to be determined." Let's say, for argument's sake, we are wait 2 or 3 more years. 2 or 3 more years, we are sit and just you do what you want it when that come. Cause that one come and then when that come, we are could go in there go study and we are could go in there go save because we are then have the backing because you have now determined that you know you're psychic, you know you're convinced you are better, you are smarter, you know they don't have a choice but to say what you want them to say. Okay, let us go with that argument. But you are going to wait 3 or 4 years for that to come down for you. 3 or 4 years, what happens to that reef?
With every day, people going out there and setting their nets on the reef. As you could see when we were pulling up the reef yesterday.
Pulling up the reef.
When we were literally pulling up the reef. Pulling up the nets is pulling up the reef. And if we don't stop that, I mean, what will we have?
And we're not talking here about an infringement that was taking place in the middle of the night.
No. Big day. And this is why I'm saying, right, that, you talk about the ICJ, we are waiting until the right ICJ make a ruling, then we're really going to go in. But when Belizeans decide to go to ICJ, all the campaign by all the governments was that once we put this in the hands of the ICJ, that you can traverse the Sarstoon freely. Well, we still can't do that. So who's to say that even if ICJ make a ruling that there will be total peace over there or that there will be no more infringement from Guatemala and Honduras? No, there's no guarantee of that. It has not happened when they have told us that it would happen. So I don't really think that we should use that as a way to say, hey, we'll just back off and let them destroy. Maybe they can't destroy everything in the next 3 to 5 years. So then we are still could save some. No, we need to assert ourselves now. I mean, again, you sight Mose, you were on the boat yesterday. We went into that area. It took us, 20, 30 minutes to get there. Even if our people, our Coast Guard, our Tide Rangers are there and hanging out, look, just drift, enjoy the nature. That will be a deterrent to those who want to come and destroy our reef.
What we're going to do is take a quick break and then we come back with our last segment here inside the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We'll be right back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Where there, brother Will?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
man.
there,
Yeah,
right
there,
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 yeah,
there,
yeah,
on
yeah.
mic. Yeah, man. That's what they do to me. We're there on the last each you know, brother. We deal with the stress. We deal with the, what I say, the bad news aspect of it at the same time, man. I know that things aren't the way they're supposed to be. I know things are not the way that they used to be. But I think what we need to remind ourselves is that we still have something here that is breathtakingly beautiful, precious, important to our survival. It's not just for both one thing when I got relevance. It has relevance to communities. It has relevance to people's lives, and with it comes responsibilities. But we could still recognize it. We could still acknowledge what it is. It still lives. We still could have gone out for a couple days and get food. Some days were better than others. Some days
But
it
we
was.
get food.
Some days me bleaky. The catch wasn't exactly anything to put on an Instagram post. You know, post up with them there. But then there were days when
But that a one day out of all the years when we're there.
I can tell you about this will.
Uh-huh.
Can get the people oh man think about this will. So Will carry fishing yesterday. For food.
Yes.
It's not a sport. It wasn't for go catch tarpon for catch and release. We look for something for eat. Cause the man said no bring nothing for eat. We shall eat from the reef.
Yep.
So we gone. And after about all day, mid-afternoon or later into the afternoon, the man gave a nice knock, nicely fight. And when the catch come close to the boat, we realize there was a nice sized barracuda, enough for full of belly.
Everybody on the island. Yeah.
Up comes one shark. If you can't take the barracuda. Will here said to the captain, ease up. I want a shark carry the barracuda. Everybody said that crazy, you crazy.
Yeah.
Will's
I mean-
argument was that if we may have it on video of the shark that carry the barracuda, that video they may want create viral excitement online. And I say, viral excitement be damned. No play with supper.
Yeah, that was like, it's unfortunate that the shark never get that barracuda because just the way the shark come out of the barracuda, that was like, man, I didn't even feel hungry again. Because I like, okay, well, I catch another barracuda, but make the shark have this one. But when the people on my boat that are like when they call it mutiny on the bounty or something like that, when I say, well, better bring in this barracuda. Because if I make the shark eat this barracuda, then me going overboard.
I
So,
think something like that.
That I made the feeling I made it get.
Something
but,
like that, I think I may want pretty accurate read
I just made it,
on the temperature upon the boat. So the point is though, right in that story, while I tell you how outrageous this bedroom could be, and I think rather illogical at the time, it does paint a picture of a reef that is still alive. Because what was to happen to that barracuda happened to it. It was nice. But in that moment, we had an ecosystem that was showing itself to be resilient. You had the apex predator, you had a barracuda, whether one predator, and they're still alive, and the predator, the nice size, and the apex predator was healthy.
Nicer size.
Healthy. Man would have say, yo, shoot panades out, I eat
Yeah.
the grain.
Hey, Gwen. Yeah.
But that was a beautiful moment.
Well, the nice that the crew made I believe the shark must be meeting the panales because the shark took off after that moment. Well, Chef Shakira was like waiting to put a knife into the barracuda. Well, we had a nice meal last night. So I
Absolutely.
guess all in all, it played off. But most, I wanted to touch something like what Senator was talking about, the plastic bag. I just wanted to bring to the Belizean public that I was in New York City not too long ago, and I bought things at different stores, and not one store gave me a plastic bag. Even when I buy a piece of pizza, didn't come in a plastic bag. So if New York City could get rid of the single-use plastic, then there's no reason why we can't do it here. And me, I personally believe that the way we will do that is begin to enforce the laws. You see, our highways continue to be uh, filthy with a lot of plastic bag and plastic bottles. That's because the Department of Environment, who is responsible, or the responsible department for enforcing the law, penalizing people or giving people the authority to penalize people, have not done so. I don't think that we are charging anybody for littering. And if we really want to do that, we have to really crack down and really show people that we are serious about the anti-littering law. I mean, that's something that I see all the time. I'm always picking up plastic from the highways and from the beaches and stuff like that. So I would like to see as part of like, just, making our reef healthy, because these bags, they do end up in the ocean and could affect the health of the reef. So I just wanted to point that out, that, I want to thank the senator for bringing that up, and know that we as a country, we can do a lot more. We definitely can do a lot more.
Yep. Man, I just want to thank you for the support and for make this possible. You know that from the time I come here, it was something I thought about. Somehow bring the SAPs to more eyes, more ears, more consciousness. Hopefully it manifests down the road in people finding a way if you can have their own SAP experience, as Ewart mentioned, in a responsible and sustainable manner, of course, because ownership has to be lived. And so every corner of the place we must experience to make we feel connected to it. SAPS remains a gorgeous experience for me, a true privilege. And I want to thank you for making it possible for the crew and for make this broadcast. Give thanks.
Yeah, it's pleasure, man, because, when you first mentioned this, from the time you come out here, I was like, yeah, there was something that got you about going to the SAPs. You and we have traveled to different parts of the country together, but when you got to the SAPs, it was like, whoa. I was like, man, what this guy see, and you kept talking about one day, Wilma, here, we will, XTV will bring to the world the Sapodillas. And I thought that was a crazy thing to think about. And before you know it, we were out here broadcasting. And I really want to thank you for staying focused and making your dreams come true of bringing the Sapodillas to the world.
Give thanks. We got to thank the team, of course, back at studios for doing the work. Larry G, Creme Radio, Harlan Wagner has put in serious work in studios. Usually he's with us on the team. But Cliff has been a rock here on the island. Give respect to your team who have represented my brother and supported this entire effort. We want to thank you, the listener, the viewer, for being here for along with us, allowing us to be in your presence and bringing this conversation. We know how we go. You could be doing a million and one other things. So give thanks to that, to our sponsors, to the people who work to get those sponsors and collaborators and partners with us. Absolutely a big thank you going out to you. Till next year, Reef Week, we are going to wrap up for today. Remember, the Reef Week team is We Reef, We Roots, connecting communities, empowering youth. Have a enjoyable weekend. Belize, stand strong, stand firm. For now, well, let me just mention, we got more stuff to put up online. So there's more stories. We got more video and content coming away from SAPS. Make sure you link it online and get that full experience as well. Stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!